Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, when you think about the Washington Commanders, you probably think about that rich history, the ups and downs of a franchise that's always been about resilience and fighting spirit. But right now, as we head into the 2024 season, there's one particular story that's been making waves across the NFL circles, and it's about a player who could very well be on his way out, despite having been a key part of the team just last year. Yes, I'm talking about Austin Ekeler, the All-Pro running back who joined Washington last season after 7 years with the Los Angeles Chargers. Ekeler, a guy who's known for his explosive plays, his versatility, and his knack for finding the end zone, suddenly finds himself in a very precarious position as the roster cuts loom. Ekeler's arrival in Washington was seen as a major boost for the team's offense. I mean, this is a guy who led the league in touchdowns in 2021 with 20 and again in 2022 with 18. That's no small feat. For the Chargers, he was a workhorse, racking up over 900 rushing yards in both those seasons, with 911 and 915 yards, respectively. He was truly a force to be reckoned with, especially when it came to the passing game, where he showcased his incredible skills as a receiving back. His ability to catch out of the backfield and turn short passes into big gains made him a nightmare for defenses. So, when he signed with the Commanders, expectations were high. Fans were excited about the possibility of Ekeler bringing that same explosiveness and veteran leadership to Washington's backfield. In his first season with the Commanders, Ekeler did have a decent showing, especially considering the team's overall offensive struggles. He finished with 367 rushing yards on 77 carries, adding 4 touchdowns, and also chipped in with 366 yards on 35 receptions. That might not look like eye-popping numbers compared to his days in Los Angeles, but it's important to remember the context. Washington, in 2023, was still trying to find its identity on offense, and Ekeler was often used in a complementary role. Still, his presence was felt, especially in the passing game and as a reliable option on third down. But as we all know, the NFL is a business, and roster decisions are made based on a lot more than just past performance. It's about fit, potential, and future planning. And here's where things get interesting. The off-season roster battles are heating up, and with the Commanders bringing in new talent and trying to develop their younger players, Ekeler's spot on the roster is being called into question. The analytics and experts from PFSN, Pro Football Scouting Network, have already labeled Ekeler as a shocking cut candidate before the 2025 season even begins. That's pretty significant, especially when you consider Ekeler's past production and his role in the offense. But the truth is, the NFL is always changing, and teams are constantly looking for the next young star who can develop into a franchise player. One of the main reasons Ekeler could be on the chopping block is his age. Turning 30 this offseason, Ekeler is at a critical point in his career. While he's still capable of making plays and providing leadership, the Commanders see the potential to save over $3.4 million by releasing him. That's a considerable amount in terms of salary cap space, and with a roster that's increasingly filled with young talent, every dollar counts. The team has already drafted and signed some promising young backs, like Jackery Krosky-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez, who are eager to prove themselves. These players, combined with others like Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane, who are fighting for roles as returners, make the running back room extremely competitive. Now, let's talk a little about the other side of the coin. Ekeler, despite being a veteran, still has a year left on his deal with Washington. But at 30, and given the team's strategic focus on building for the future, it seems unlikely that this will be his long-term home. If he does get released, it could very well be the end of his journey with the Commanders. For fans, that's a bittersweet reality. Ekeler brought experience and production, But the NFL demands constant evolution, and teams are always looking for that edge, that youth, that speed. But what does this mean for the Commanders moving forward? Well, it signals their commitment to developing their younger talent, building a team that's ready to compete at the highest level. It also highlights the tough decisions front offices have to make to stay under the salary cap while maximizing their roster's potential. For fans, it's a reminder that the NFL is a league of constant change, where even the most reliable players can become expendable if the team's strategic direction shifts. Looking at the bigger picture, the Commanders have made some intriguing moves this offseason. They've been focusing on bolstering their offensive line, adding depth and talent to protect their quarterback, Sam Howell, who showed flashes of brilliance last season. The defense has also seen some upgrades, with new signings and draft picks aimed at creating more pressure on opponents and improving their secondary. All of this points to a team that's serious about contending, not just for a playoff spot, but for a deep run in the postseason. And if we zoom in on the running game, the potential departure of Ekeler could open up opportunities for the younger backs to step up and carve out more prominent roles. Jacare Krosky-Merritt, for example, is a player with speed and agility, eager to make his mark. Chris Rodriguez has shown flashes of power and vision, and he's been working hard to earn more touches. These young backs could be the future of Washington's ground attack, especially if the team wants to keep their offense unpredictable and dynamic. Meanwhile, the coaching staff remains focused on maximizing the team's strengths. Head coach Ron Rivera and offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy are known for their strategic approach to the game. They want a running back who can complement their play-calling style, be reliable in pass protection, and contribute in the passing game. Ekeler has the skills, no doubt, but with the team's current roster construction, it's a question of whether he fits into their long-term plans. The NFL is a ruthless league, and sometimes, even the most productive players have to make way for the future. In the context of Washington's recent history, there's a clear pattern of youth movement and strategic roster management. Since their resurgence under Rivera, the team has been trying to balance veteran leadership with developing young talent. Whether it's their draft picks or free agent signings, the goal has been to build a core that can sustain success over multiple seasons. The potential release of Ekeler underscores that mindset, prioritizing cap flexibility and future growth over short-term gains. Of course, there's also the emotional side to consider. Ekeler, despite the rumors, has been a professional throughout his time with Washington. Fans appreciated his effort and attitude on the field, and his versatility was a valuable asset. If he does end up being released, it'll be a tough pill to swallow for many, but it's also a reminder of how competitive and cutthroat the NFL is. Every player, no matter their past achievements, is fighting for their spot each season. Looking ahead, the Commanders will need to make their final roster decisions in the coming weeks. Training camp and preseason will be critical testing grounds for all these young backs and veterans alike. The coaching staff will be evaluating everything: performance, leadership, fit within the team culture, and Ekeler's future will be decided based on these evaluations. If he's released, it'll be a new chapter for him, perhaps finding a new team or transitioning into a different role within the league. For the fans, it's a reminder that the NFL is always evolving. Teams are constantly reshaping their rosters, looking for that perfect combination of youth, talent, and experience to push them over the top. Washington is no different. They're aiming for a deep playoff run, and every decision they make now is part of that longer-term plan. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Ekeler will make the final roster, or is he destined to be released? Are you excited about the young backs stepping up, or do you think the team needs that veteran leadership more than ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and analysis, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This offseason might be shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory for the team, and every move will be closely watched by fans and analysts alike. The future is bright, but it's also filled with tough decisions that will define the team's trajectory for years to come. Thanks for sticking with me today, and as always, let's keep supporting the Commanders, no matter what. We're all part of this journey together, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds.